Ewalego Bilbao Mankasa home grounds. But then also unfortunately, because in the semi-finals, Mankasa team lose to Editia at the side of Manchester United back-to-back at Old Trafford, any of Mankasa home, they have not been able to go into the finals or meet Timabo against Tottenham Hotspur. But then it will be another all-English finals Asia between Manchester United and the side of Tottenham Hotspur. This will be the seed all-English finals and then because when we talk about all-English finals, it started way back in 1971 when Tottenham were able to beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 3-2 in the Europa League final. At that time, it was called the European Cup. Our Tottenham Hotspur were able to beat the side of Wolverhampton Wanderers shown by 3-2. Then you talk about the 2008 Champions League final towards Moscow. That's what Chelsea against Manchester United when they beat the side of Chelsea Football Club in the penalty shootout. Manchester for the team shared the first goal. Chelsea fought by Ebete Canham equalized strongly by Frank Lampard. The long way shorter or Eddie shared the side of Manchester United. And after penalty shootout, Manchester United were able to win that particular match. Then you talk about another Champions League final. It told you between Tottenham Hotspur and the side of Liverpool Football Club. When Liverpool won that particular game against Tottenham Hotspur, then you talk about the Europa League final between Chelsea and Arsenal. When Chelsea also scored Arsenal by 4-1, and another one, and also told you, and then you will be the seed all English final. And it will be happen. Alego Bilbao or Mankasa home grounds. It tells you say it will be a super clash between Tottenham and then Manchester United. But between these particular two football clubs, Manchester United, when it comes to the European Cup, in the 1964-1965, at that time it was called the Intercity First Cup. And in the 64-65, now we go into that particular championship in the second round. And the Valencia for MON-FRI, that particular league into the quarterfinals, and also into the semi-finals, Anko into the finals. At that time, it was called the Interfirst Cup or MON-FRI in that particular finals. But then in the 1981-82 season, Valencia for Nankasa Chomu in that particular football competition. And then 81-82 Lords and Sutimi Chomu. But in the 1992, they were able to go to Moscow. The side of Rubin Kazan TBG in that particular extender, it will be called Moscow. But when it comes to Kwame Faso, it make you a maiden edition. Louis Van Gaal before club in the Europa League final, but then into the quarterfinals, at that particular time, Louis Van Gaal before that particular football club. But then Jose Mourinho came in 2017 and stabilized everything. Major Europa League Cup in that particular season. Courtesy by Obitise, the side of Manchester United, winning that particular Europa League in 2017. When Jose Mourinho made sure that he would take the football club go into the final against Ajax, but a huge number of goals winning that particular Europa League Cup. It was the first edition of winning Edinburgh. Then they came back in 2021. When they met against Villarreal, and against Villarreal, they were able to concede defeat throughout the penalty shootout. A cost of 10 against 11. Villarreal, winning that particular European Cup. Now, Manchester United air call for the second edition of winning the Europa League under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But after 5 months as a coach for Manchester United, he was evicted out as the coach for Manchester United. So when you check about history be catch yourself Manchester in the Europa League or Majibako, but then when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur, 1971 they and they also continued in winning against the other club or almost in the 1984. So 71-84 for Tottenham Hotspur and only 2017 for the side of Manchester United. So it tells you Manchester United when it comes to this particular competition, they are not dominant as compared to the side of Tottenham Hotspur, because Tottenham for with 2 European Cups, and then when they talk about Manchester United, not about Champions League, but when we talk about Europa Cup, Manchester, first edition of was 2017. So in that particular para, the side of Tottenham Hotspur with that kind of advanced dominance against the side of Manchester United. And a game, everything is particular maximum points, at the Manchester United. But then, when you talk about the record that it's asserting between Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur, you can clearly imagine, say, the biggest winner at all to the Manchester United, and go far back in 1910 when Manchester United was able to win by 5-0, and the biggest winner told you that Tottenham Hotspur was far back in 2020 when they were able to win 6-1 under Mauricio Pochettino, and they won that particular game handsomely against the side of Manchester United. But then overall meetings for these particular 2 football clubs, we are actually talking about 204 total meetings against the two football clubs, both Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. And then Manchester United, it may see 96 major wins for themselves. And then Tottenham Hotspur, it may see the side of 57 major wins for themselves. Only 51 draws they PM at the side of Tottenham Hotspur. It tells you, say, Manchester United, around all other competition between Omo and Tottenham Hotspur, no, Omo dominating in most of the decisive wins are Omenia against the side of Tottenham Hotspur. Then you talk about Omo coach Roman Aberon. This season, he has been able to make sure, so we consider a lot of defeat against Tottenham Hotspur and Pochettino. But then in against Tottenham Hotspur, no, he has been able to make sure, say, we're about 4 games, we're winning just 1, we're draw back and we lose 2 at the other side of Manchester United. It tells you, say, it is not properly well done for the side of Ruben Amorim, that Portuguese coach or coaching Manchester United. The first win, now he was coaching for Sporting Lisbon, that upper win against the side of Tottenham Hotspur. That was the only win the side of Manchester United in that particular level. But the old translator called the side of Ange Postecoglou. This season, he has been able to play close to about 6 games for for Tottenham Hotspur, winning 4 games, drawing just 1 and losing 1 for the side of Tottenham Hotspur. It tells you, say, also dominating against Manchester United this season in all other competitions. But when we talk about this season games, these 2 football clubs, this is Manchester United against Spurs in 2024. And then Spurs was able to beat Manchester United by 3 goals to 0. The second match, and the side of Spurs were able to beat Manchester United by 4 goals to 3. And you talk about this particular year, 16 February 2025, and then Spurs were able to beat Manchester United by 1 goal to 0. So the last 3 games, it is telling you, say, Spurs is actually dominating against Manchester United. But then this is the Tottenham Hotspur, or major transition possession win against major football clubs in the Europa League. And it's actually telling you, say, when Ange Postecoglou Oshiawa, he plays the total dominance football about the 4-wide system and make sure that the tactical variation, will be ensured. So the major average possession rate, has been 55.25% for Tottenham Hotspur. It tells you, say, he is that possessive coach. When he plays, he loves flares of the ball, and he makes sure, say, those midfielders who make him carry that counter-attacking team, they can easily progress the ball and they can easily score a lot of goals for Tottenham. Against Bodo Glimt, he made close to about 41.14% in terms of possession won for Tottenham Hotspur. Against Bodo Glimt in the semi-final, he was able to make 31.16% for Tottenham Hotspur, and against Eintracht Frankfurt, he was able to make 36.60%. In terms of the XGA for Tottenham Hotspur against the side of Bodo Glimt, he was able to record 0.26% for himself, and against Bodo Glimt away, so he was able to make close to about 0.43%. And Eintracht Frankfurt away, he was able to make 0.91% for himself. It tells you, say, he is that particular coach. So Oba, he wouldn't demand so a lot of goals, but then he plays smooth, flamboyant football for himself, and then he has been able to make sure so dominating for Tottenham Hotspur throughout the group stages to the knockout stages into the finals, meeting against Manchester United. But Commander, so we'll check the tactical lineup a bit more to at the other side of these 2 football clubs. It tells you, say, they have a lot of things to come in play when we talk about the tactical lineup between Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. This will be a 4-3-3 shape for Tottenham Hotspur and Postecoglou. Makacho said he played the 4-3-3 wide system, and then the 4-back, 3 solid midfielders in the midfield, and the 3 attackers who made me Ejina anymore at Tottenham Hotspur. And then you get the side of Manchester United, the 3-4-2-1 tactical system with Mabo Edema Manchester United. It tells you, say, he can easily do that particular job for Manchester United. So about the 3-4-2-1, he can easily play the 3-5-2 tactical system for Manchester United. So over here for the side of Tottenham Hotspur, you get Pedro Porro, who will stand in the right full back position for the side of Tottenham Hotspur, and Christian Romero will become the right centre back for Tottenham, and Mickey van de Ven will become the left centre back, and Destiny Udoji will become the left full back for the side of Tottenham Hotspur. Into the midfield, you get Bissouma, Rodrigo Bentancur, and Pepe Mata, the side of Tottenham Hotspur, and then the attacking front. So he mean Dominic Solanke, Brennan Johnson will lead the front attacking threat for Tottenham Hotspur. Then you get about the side of Manchester United. United. The same scenario, Casemiro and Manuel Ugarte will become the stable midfielders who will compete against Rodrigo Benteke and Pepe Matasa in the midfield battle. And Mazraoui will become that right inverted midfielder supporting the side of Manuel Ugarte in the right midfield in the midfield. Patrick Odogu will become the left inverted midfielder supporting Casemiro over here. Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof will become the three-back committee Manchester United, and Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo, and Rasmus Højlund will become the front attacking team. They will lead the attacking side for Manchester United. But this is it. Manchester United, unlike other football clubs, almost show more transition. As you know, you can easily imagine so Ruben Amorim or sharing the ball and also sharing the coaching career with Sporting Lisbon, FC Braga, and Benfica. He tried to make sure he would transition the main sweeper as the goalkeeper to intercept and make sure so transition most of the passes in the defensive structure of Sporting Lisbon, FC Braga. But about Manchester United, he has been able to make sure when he wants to start his progression, he invites a lot of opponent attackers into Omankasa's zone 14-yard box, and then he's trying to make sure he will create a lot of opposing space in the midfield. So check about the quality of this particular picture. And that's all. You check, imagine, three back and a Manchester United airball, and then Obite said Harry Maguire will start that particular transitional pass, making sure Manuel Ugarte will come close to the zone 14 just to get the ball, and making sure when he get the ball, he has the right to make sure Obite a lot of possessing rate together with Patrick Odogu are all in that particular left full-back position for the side of Manchester United, and they can easily transition the ball into the midfield role, making sure Manchester will carry on progressively against any other football club in the Europa League. But we don't go into the second picture. Manchester United, when they're playing against any other football club, you get imagine in the midfield, almost a lot of numerical superiority against themselves. And so opponents not able to numerical superiority. It will become a good omen for Ruben Amorim to make sure independent the football in the tactical midfield, but then he will try to make sure in the wing out of the midfield, Manchester will progress the ball efficiently throughout the wings into the attacking third, making sure incisive passes and most of the related passes can easily generate into the attacking box of Manchester United. So when you get Manchester trying to progress the ball in the left flanks of Omankasa House, Patrick Odogu will try to connect the ball to the side of Casemiro in the left midfield role for the side of Manchester United. And Bruno Fernandes will just swerve in from the central position into the left wing position just to come in and making sure he will make availability of spaces for Rasmus Højlund and Manuel Ugarte to stand in as a typical 10 or Nobel Rasmus Højlund in attacking box for the side of Manchester United. So, but those switch out with the third picture. You imagine, right over here, they were actually depending the ball in the left flanks of Manchester United, Manchester's opposing midfield. In the third picture, Manchester will try to divert most of these tactical changes into the right-hand side of the midfield of Manchester United. So Somambo in the left, they will try to play in the right, making sure they will overload a lot of superiority in that particular left flanks and the right flanks of the opposing halves. And Manchester United will make sure to meet him opposite. And say Manuel Ugarte and then Casemiro Mujine and Fifi, they don't have that stamina, they don't have that strength to run past most of these midfielders more good energy and more good runs run past most of these midfielders in the tactical central midfield. Manchester, Casemiro and Manuel Ugarte need that kind of speed and agility to match up most of these opponents. So they try to make sure they will open up wide, play in the left wing and play also in the right wing. So Manchester and Ruben Amorim will try to make sure they will generate a lot of passes. But when it becomes difficult, Naso Omutimi blocking the left wing and the right wing. There's Manuel Ugarte who always dictate the play. In the midfield role, you get someone who will dictate the play and you get someone who will direct the operational passes into the attacking box of Manchester United. And Manuel Ugarte, he dictates the play. He is a main destructive organ for Manchester United. Once you get Casemiro, he will neutralize play from other opponents. And then Bruno Fernandes will make sure that he will carry the ball progressively from the central midfield to the zone 14 of the opponent. So this is Manuel Ugarte, making sure that he will have that close telepathic compatibility together with the Casemiro in the midfield. They bet him support to Manchester United. They can easily create a lot of numerical superiority in the numerical midfield for Manchester United. But apart from that, Manuel Ugarte he tries to make sure a lot of changes at the attacking tether. This will be said that the side of Casemiro. After Manuel Ugarte, Casemiro will get the ball and will try to create 3 attacking opponents for Manchester United in the zone 14-yard box of Omankasa, the opponent yard box. And Casemiro, on a good passer of the ball, he distracts the tactical display of the opponent. But this time around, Ruben Amorim, the tactical measurement of Casemiro, said he should try as much as possible to progress the ball from the midfield area into the attacking yard box of Manchester United or Manchester opposing yard. So check about the numbers. Manchester opposing against Atletico Bilbao, Manchester opposing box. 4 players who creating numerical superiority. And there are 2 Atletico Bilbao, Manchester opposing box. It tells you say Ruben Amorim, when attacking offensively, he tried to add a lot of numerical superiority to the attacking test. Switch here. This is it. This is Casemiro trying to make the Diogo deposition football in the vertical line passing at the other side of Bruno Fernandes. Okay. Because he know over here, say, so Nunya Bona, the Obetima carry ball from the midfield, at the point zone 14, is Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes, the team open up the space between the 2 solid midfielders in the tactical midfield of Atletico Bilbao. This Bruno Fernandes waiting for Casemiro to get in the ball and making sure that he can easily transition the ball from that particular zone 14 into the penalty yard box of the side of Manchester United. Or what the side of Rasmus Højlund or Manuel Ugarte. He has Amad Diallo and also Abba Enimo as a central attacking midfielder just to support Obi to say, Rasmus Højlund in that particular attacking team. But look at this. Bruno Fernandes, Manuel Ugarte, Amad Diallo, and other people from Wahanum. Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo, Rasmus Højlund, they are creating 2 double number 10s over here, Commander. Making sure that when they add a lot of tactical things to the attacking third, they will easily create a lot of things. But so it will make a difference now. It will be Bruno Fernandes. The attacking side of Manchester United now is actually immense. Okay. Bruno Fernandes this season in the Europa League has actually created 88 chances. Amad Diallo has created 47 chances. Garnacho has created 37 chances. It is telling you, say, they can easily create chances and they can easily score a lot of goals. Big chances created. 15 for the side of Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo 7, Garnacho 4, and then goals and assists. Bruno Fernandes this season in the Europa League, he has created 17 chances and goals, and also Amad Diallo 13 and Garnacho 8 over here. And it is telling you, say, Bruno Fernandes can easily score a goal this night. Sir, I'm rooting for Manchester United to win. Sir, United, yes. What's my predicted scoreline? I predicted scoreline. But Manchester will win. Bruno Fernandes will score. Yes. Yes, they may. Perfect analysis. And big chances created. Now share or more United attacking trial we are. They are more dangerous even than Tottenham Hotspur attacking third. And this time around, Manchester United remaining unbeaten in Europa League. And your Tottenham for the bit must stop you. History will work, but at Manchester United, it wouldn't work for Tottenham Hotspur. They will win. Maestro now also a justice to a game.